All right, so you want more people to see your stuff on Instagram, right? Who doesn't?
It's the dream. More followers, more engagement. You know the drill.
Exactly. And we're diving deep into how to make that happen, especially in 2024. This isn't just some generic advice either.
No way. We're getting strategic here. You've got this awesome guide, and we're going to break it down step by step.
Exactly. No fluff, just the good stuff.
And the first thing that really jumped out at me was this whole thing about finding your niche.
Yeah, the guide really hammers that home, doesn't it?
It does, and for good reason. It's like,
Yeah.
imagine walking into a store, right? And they've got, like, everything. Toys, clothes, groceries, you name it.
Talk about overwhelming.
Right. You walk out kind of confused, like, what do they even do here?
Exactly. And our guide says your Instagram, it can't be that store. It needs a clear focus.
You got it. People need to land on your page and instantly get it. What are you about? What are you sharing? If it's not crystal clear.
They're gone. On to the next thing.
It's harsh, but it's true. Attention spans these days.
Shorter than ever.
And you know what else? It's not just about confusing people. A scattered approach, it messes with the Instagram algorithm too.
Oh man, the algorithm. Always got to be thinking about that, right?
Always. But think of it this way. Every time you post something consistent with your niche, you're basically teaching the algorithm what your account is all about.
So the more consistent you are, the more Instagram's like, oh, I get you now. You're the go-to for this.
Exactly. And that means you'll start popping up in the feeds of people who are actually interested in that stuff.
It's like you're speaking the algorithm's language.
Exactly. You got to talk the talk if you want to, get that algorithm on your side.
Because otherwise it's like you're just shouting into the void.
And nobody wants that.
So we've got our niche figured out. What's next on our Instagram checklist?
Quality and consistency, my friend. Those are your two best friends when it comes to Instagram growth.
Right. The guide recommends aiming for 3 to 4 high-quality posts per week. That feels kind of daunting sometimes, to be honest.
Oh, I hear you. It's a commitment, for sure. But here's the thing. Quality trumps quantity every single time.
So it's better to have, say, 2 amazing posts than 5 mediocre ones.
100%.
Yeah.
It's like, would you rather have 2 bites of the most delicious cake ever?
Or a whole slice of something just, okay, easy choice.
Exactly. Now, I know what you're thinking, easier said than done, right? Life gets busy.
Tell me about it.
But that's the cool part. The guy talks about this too. You don't have to go all out all the time. Think about it. You've got your feed posts. Those are like your showstoppers, right?
The carefully curated, beautifully edited highlights.
Exactly. But then you've got Instagram stories. Those are like your backstage pass.
More off-the-cuff, behind-the-scenes kind of vibe.
Exactly. You can be more real, more spontaneous. You don't need to stress about every story being perfectly polished.
So it's a way to connect with your audience more often without the pressure of creating a masterpiece every time.
Precisely. And guess what? That kind of authenticity, it's actually super engaging.
Makes sense. People connect with realness.
They do. So yeah, don't be afraid to have some fun with it, Quick updates, silly polls, behind-the-scenes glimpses, it all adds up.
It's all part of building that connection.
Exactly.
All right, so we've talked about niche, we've talked about content, but what about hashtags? Those feel like a whole other beast.
Oh, I hear you. Hashtags, they can be tricky.
I'll be honest, I used to just kind of throw a bunch of random ones on there, hoping for the best.
We've all been there.
But this guide, it's like, it read my mind. It says, forget those generic, super popular hashtags.
Well, not entirely. It's more like, don't put all your eggs in that basket.
Okay, so there's a strategy here, right? It's not just about chasing the biggest numbers.
Exactly. Think of it like fishing, right?
Yeah.
You could cast a wide net, hope to catch anything that swims by.
Or you could use the right bait, target a specific type of fish.
There you go. It's the same with hashtags. You want to mix.
So some broad ones for visibility, and then some really niche ones to attract the right people.
Exactly. The ones who are actually interested in what you're sharing. You're basically helping Instagram connect the dots.
Makes sense. And hey, speaking of connecting the dots, this whole section on branded hashtags, that was new to me.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Imagine, right, you create a hashtag unique to your brand.
And then people start using it when they share their own content related to what you do.
Bingo. User-generated content, it's gold.
Because it's real people, real experiences.
And it shows potential followers that you're not just talking the talk, you're walking the walk. You've got a community that loves what you do.
Okay, I'm sold. Branded hashtags. Gotta love it.
And you know what else goes hand in hand with building a community? Engagement.
You mean actually talking to people, not just posting and ghosting.
Exactly. This isn't a one-way street, right? Imagine throwing a party and just, like, leaving a plate of cookies on the table, disappearing into thin air.
I wouldn't expect many repeat guests.
Exactly. Your Instagram, it's like your online party. Be present. Be a good host.
Respond to comments, answer DMs.
Exactly. Every interaction, it's a chance to make a connection. And those connections, they can turn into loyal followers, customers, even friends.
And it's not just about being polite, right? It's got to be genuine.
100%.
Yeah.
People can spot a fake a mile away. They can tell if you're just copy-pasting responses.
It's like the difference between talking to a robot versus talking to a real person, you know?
Yeah.
You can tell when someone's really listening, really present.
Exactly. And guess what? The algorithm can tell too.
Wait, seriously. The algorithm cares if I'm being a good human.
Think about it. Instagram, they want people to stay on the platform, right?
Right.
And what keeps people engaged?
Seeing stuff they like, feeling connected.
Exactly. So when you're actively engaging, having genuine conversations, it sends a signal. It says, hey, this account, it's a happening place. People are connecting here.
And the algorithm's like, all right, let's show this to more people.
Precisely. It's all part of the algorithm's master plan to keep people scrolling, liking, and commenting. And you know what's really interesting? The accounts that do this well, they go beyond just like answering questions or saying thank you on a comment.
What do they do?
They make you feel seen, you know?
Yeah.
They make you feel like you could bump into them at a coffee shop and you'd already be friends.
Okay, I love that. That's the kind of vibe I want to cultivate. But how do you actually do that online? It's not like we can all grab coffee with our followers.
That's where things get really interesting. And that's what we're going to dive into right after this quick break.
So how do we create that genuine connection online? It feels kind of tricky sometimes.
It is. And the guide touches on this too. It's about being intentional, you know? Like, think about your own Instagram feed for a second.
Okay, so all those accounts I follow.
Right. Do they all make you feel good?
Mhm.
Do they inspire you, make you think? Or are some of them, I don't know, kind of draining?
Ooh, good point. I definitely have some of both.
It's like anything else, you know?
Yeah.
You got to be mindful of what you're letting into your world, even if it's just through a screen.
So it's like spring cleaning, but for your Instagram. Got to get rid of the stuff that's no longer serving you.
Exactly. Unfollow the accounts that make you feel icky. Mute the ones that are just too noisy.
And prioritize the ones that light you up, the ones that make you feel inspired, connected, all that good stuff.
Exactly. Surround yourself with the good vibes, you know?
Okay, love it.
Yeah.
So we're curating our feeds, being more mindful about who we're following. What else can we do to make sure we're using Instagram in a way that feels good?
This might sound kind of obvious, but honestly, take breaks.
Oh, man, easier said than done sometimes.
Right. But seriously, that endless scroll, it can be a trap.
Like next thing you know, an hour's gone by and you're like, what did I even just look at?
Exactly. So set some boundaries. Maybe it's putting your phone away an hour before bed. Maybe it's having designated no scroll times during the day.
I like that. Digital detox. Got to do it.
Exactly. And you know what else? Pay attention to how you feel after you've been scrolling.
Oh, interesting. Like do a little self-check-in.
Yeah. If you're feeling energized, inspired, great. But if you're feeling, I don't know, inadequate,
Time to reevaluate.
Exactly. Maybe it's the accounts you're following. Maybe it's the time of day you're scrolling. Figure out what works for you.
Because at the end of the day, social media, it should be fun.
It should. It's a way to connect, to share, to express yourself.
To learn new things, discover new stuff.
Exactly. It's about finding your way to use these platforms in a way that feels good.
I love that. This whole conversation, it's got me thinking differently about how I show up online.
Me too. It's a good reminder that we have the power to create the online experience we want.
That we're not just passive consumers, we're active participants.
Exactly.
This has been amazing. Thanks for diving deep with me and unpacking all of this.
Anytime. Always a pleasure to chat all things Instagram.
Now, for our listeners out there, remember, you've got this. Take these insights, experiment, have some fun, and go create the Instagram presence of your dreams.
You got this.
Until next time, happy posting, everyone.